Look. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
It's regular meeting, Commissioners Court, Liberty County, Texas, June the 10th, 2025. It's about 9:03 a.m. Let's call this meeting to order and let the record show that we have all the commissioners are here this morning. We do have business for the court today, so let's take care of our business. First thing up, the pledge and then the invocation. Tiffany, if you'd get us in the pledges, please, ma'am.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag? Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Y'all pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you again for another day that you woke us up, you give us the opportunity to put our feet on the ground. And Lord, I just hope that the main thing that we had first to come out of our mouths was our praise to you for giving us this opportunity. Lord, please be with us as we go through this day and through the rest of this week and the rest of this year. Help us to help others. Help us to understand others. And above all, Lord, help us to love others as you love us. Please be with our men and women in uniform, Lord, and our first responders as they go out on their duties. Lord, please bring them back safely. And please watch over our beautiful county, our beautiful state, and our nation, Lord. We need you now more than ever. We ask these things in Jesus' most precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All righty. Notices and proclamations. Dee Dee, I don't think we have any this morning. We have no public comment that I had anybody sign up for. So we'll keep right on rolling through. Conflicts of interest. Does anyone on the Commissioners Court have a conflict that they can see they need to declare? I don't. Okay. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Hope y'all have all had the opportunity to look at it. Do you have any questions or anything to add? Dwayne, I think we might have one thing to add.
I think there's a budget amendment there in there for precinct 2, and finances being changed, and they scratched that old and changed to the new one. Basically, it's recording $298,060 in capital lease proceeds, $298,060 in capital outlay. Taking the budget. This one's a little different from the ones in the past. This financing, people are going to wire $298,060 to us, and then we're going to turn around and pay the equipment vendor the $298,000.
Matthew, you have anything?
I just ask for y'all to consider that outside the consent agenda on its own, have
Okay.
its own separate vote.
Okay, we can move this to the regular agenda. Okay.
I believe it's already on there, Judge.
Yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't find which number real quick.
Yeah, I didn't
It's on there
run
somewhere.
across it yet. There it is. Okay. All right. Okay, so
On the revised agenda, Chad, this particular item. We had a couple of revisions to the agenda last week. I think we came on one of those.
It's item number 15, Judge.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, never mind.
okay, there it is. All right, so that one is already moved. Dwayne, is that okay? Okay, all right. All right, so there's the consent agenda. What to say to the court?
Kim's got an add-on.
You do?
Yeah.
I didn't see your hand. Okay.
Sorry. We have a payoff for Mr. James Rod in the district attorney's office. He has vacation time, $1,002.24. Comp, $943.67, and longevity pay, $720 for a total of $2,665.91.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda along with the additions.
Okay, you got a motion from Bruce. Second from David. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 1 on regular agenda, 8.1, from our fire marshal. Approve the order prohibiting certain fireworks in the unincorporated areas of Liberty County, Texas for the 4th of July holiday. And of course, we always talk about sticks and fins, the old Jim Wilson rule.
Well, that rule, Your Honor, only applies under drought conditions, which we are not under right now. There are prohibited fireworks based on size and the power, the load, number of grams of gunpowder in an individual fireworks.
Mhm.
So just want to make it understood that the term rockets with sticks and missiles with fins applies under droughts, not under the general sales season. There are already some very specific guidelines of what cannot be sold. So I just want to make sure that that was understood and stated.
Well, as it gets closer to the 4th of July, we could revisit this, but you could say approve it now, right?
Well, we can approve the fireworks season, yes.
Okay.
But the only thing that's prohibited right now are those that are in the state law that are already prohibited year round, no matter what.
Mhm.
We have until the 15th to declare a drought, which I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to play this year.
No, we've had plenty of rain. Yeah. Okay.
Everything's green and wet, so I don't see that being an issue for this season.
Okay. All right. What say the court?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from David.
Since I suppose
Thank you,
we're eliminating the sticks and fins clause of it.
For the time being. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.2 from Sheriff, consider and approve revisions to jail services agreement between Liberty County and Kerr County, increasing the inmate rate per day from $65 to $100. Sheriff?
Yes, sir, that's the only revision, they're raising the rate from $65.
Well, it's,
Everyone or just the? Just the ones in Kirk County.
Yeah.
And we'll look and see what, later on, there's a contract for another facility that may be a little less that we could ship them to.
have y'all checked over at Beaumont, at Jefferson County?
They don't have any empty beds.
They don't?
Solid,
Okay.
it's not.
Okay.
This Dealer Lacey you're talking about.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So my question is, is this automatic or is it, I thought it said something about October 1st.
Yeah, it started this month, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, got a motion from David. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Greg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Number 8.3 from Mr. Dennis over in the IT department. Consider and approve the renewal of IBM Service Suite contract for hardware and software maintenance coverage for running the Icon software in all the JP offices for a total cost of $5,567.25 a year. Nick?
This is just for their IBM server and Icon software that they use for all their offices, day-to-day operations. It's just keep the server running tip-top shape, and any maintenance calls we have or anything, we monitor it. Just keep it running.
Are these funds coming from the IT?
I believe it has in the past. I believe.
Make a motion to approve.
That sound right, Dwayne? Okay. Got a motion from Bruce, a second from David. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays.
Thank you, Nick.
That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.4 from Ms. Soliday over in permits. Consider and approve a draw request, number 8, in the amount of $565,675.45 for the GLO CDBG MITMOD contract number 2406014E171. The request invoice information is attached in the packet. Lynn, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
said, is for the mid-mod contract, we have to ask for the draw first, and then we can ask.
Yes, ma'am. What say the court?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from David, second from Bruce. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Boy, don't sit down and hit, Melinda.
The rest of them, Jerry.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Not as many this time. You can miss me when I'm on vacation.
We'll hunt you down. Okay. Number 8.5, consider and approve payment request in the amount of $565,675.45 to LJ Engineering for invoice number 202516618 dated 5/9/25 for engineering services for the GLO CDBG Mid-Mod contract number 24065-014E171. Copies of the invoice and status memo number 13 are attached in the packet for review. That's pretty self-explanatory. Okay.
Just for anybody that doesn't know, we have to request a draw from the GLO first.
Right.
And then once we receive the money, we only have a couple of days before we need to pay the.
Got a motion from David to approve,
Second.
second from Bruce. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion?
Waiting for somebody else to wake up.
Nobody wants to second anymore. Got a motion and a second on the table. No further discussion. We'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 6, consider and approve a request from the permitting department to add a charge for on-site sewer repairs in the amount of $125. Okay, with our new permitting software, we need to add this charge to be able to have the repaired system inspected. Makes sense. After completion and reporting the changes to TCEQ. This is the amount we charge for relocation of drip or spray fields.
We
Again,
need to differentiate between repairs and replacements. It's, when we do, when they just do the sprinklers and stuff like that, that's just a spray field change. They don't even mess with the tanks.
Right.
When they do the repairs, they will be messing with the tanks. If they have to be changed out, we have to report the change to TCEQ. We've got a monthly report that we have to keep track of.
Yeah.
And we send to TCEQ.
okay,
But this is not included the normal maintenance. To maintenance one is not, you're not considering that repairs?
No.
Okay.
We already, the maintenance, when people get their contracts, when they first get their septic system, they have an automatic 2-year maintenance for the
Correct.
company.
Mhm.
And then after that time, they need to renew a contract with somebody.
So this is just to recover your costs for the second inspection, or is this a
No.
pass-through cost to TCEQ?
Actually, this cost is just so we can put a permit in there. We're getting a lot more, we have a lot of people that still have conventional systems. And when they come in and they bring a larger home or build a larger home, the old conventional system cannot handle the new one. And once you make a change to the tanks, it has to be brought up to code. So we have to get an aerobic or a drip system.
Right.
So that's the difference between the relocates and the repairs.
Okay, but it's causing for an additional inspection from your group?
Yes, but we do, yeah, we do them for all.
Okay.
okay. What say the court?
Move to approve.
Go ahead, Jerry.
No, I'll second it.
You got a motion from Greg. Was that, Gerald, you got a second on that?
Yeah, I got one in.
Okay.
I have struggling with my voice just a little bit. It's okay. It's hard to pull the trigger sometimes.
It's that kind of weather right now.
Okay. All right, got a motion from Greg, second from Gerald to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.7 from Ms. Soliday, consider and approve the preliminary plat and preliminary drainage plans for Tarkington Downs Phase 1. The subdivision will be located in Precinct 2 off Highway 105 and County Road 2224. Phase 1 will have 322 single-family lots. Attached in the packet is LJA Engineering's letter of recommendation for approval and site map for review. Do we have the gentleman here from? Yeah, y'all come on up and let us meet you.
All the way in the back, I didn't see you guys like that, I know they're here.
You might consider this after 9. The variance request is number 9, I think. Is that right?
We usually do the variance after the approval.
No, we normally do a variance before we do approval.
Where would you
I'm
like?
gonna get out of your way.
Let's go ahead and meet y'all because I have yet to do so. All right. Now, first of all, who are you?
I'm Louis Faust. I'm with Texas Professional Engineering, engineer for the developer of this.
I've met you before, but I just want to make sure we get that on record.
Yes, sir.
I'm Ripley Woodard with Better Planning and Design of the Land Planners, the developers for the project.
And say your name again.
Ripley Woodard.
Ripley.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good deal. So tell us about your subdivision.
This is it's a subdivision that ultimately will produce about 785 equivalent single-family connections. It's about 750 lots, I believe, some commercial space. Proposed to be developed in 3 phases. Probably looking at about at least 4 to 5 years. It's gonna construct its own wastewater treatment plant. Provide somewhere in the neighborhood of 56 acre-feet of detention for stormwater mitigation, have 3 points of connection. And we're also working with TxDOT to install traffic signal and turn lanes to get in and out.
What kind of homes?
These are all national home builder starter to mid-level homes. That kind of would be typical for the greater Houston market. It's being marketed to builders like Lamar, DR Horton.
I think we've become the greater Houston market out here too. So, okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Square footage, what, 1650, bigger, less?
More than 1650.
Okay.
About 19 to 22, I
Okay.
believe, is the target footprint. Attached garage.
Concrete driveway?
Concrete driveway.
Okay.
All curb and gutter. Typically some form of masonry exterior, whether it's brick or a frost stone, something like that, at least on one side is typical.
How many acres?
195 acres total.
Okay. Have y'all visited with the school superintendent yet in Targeting?
I personally have not.
You haven't? Well, who's running your company? Are Ripley or you? I mean, we're going to be nice to everybody around here because they have a stake in this too. And I would sure like for them to know what's heading their way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You definitely will.
Okay, so first opportunity, I can give you the doctor's name at Targeting ISD. Y'all need to scat right up there and visit. Okay, tell them where you're going to be and what you're going to do. Because they have to plan.
Of course.
You know, they have to plan. It's going to be a burden on anybody to get enough seats in the House to educate. Okay.
What
Yeah.
size lots? Width?
It's a variety. I think it's 3 or 4 different product sizes.
What's the majority? What's going to be the majority width size of your lots?
Majority is 50s, and then 50 foot by 120, and then there's 40 foot by 120. I believe the ratio is around 65, 35.
Okay.
65% 50s.
And then we have,
753.
that's going to be a lot on this school.
Greg, this is over in your neck of the woods, correct?
Yeah, and I have some little problems at this point. I would like to table this whole thing until we can, and we're asking for a variance here, which we normally get a variance before we approve the deal.
It's in the packet.
LJA, when they said they don't have any objections to it. I don't care whether they have any objections to it or not. I want to know does it meet our specifications, and they're just looking at one section of this thing when you got 2 other sections that's got to be built. And
I want to know if the overall drainage situation will be satisfied, not just one section, because they're definitely gonna build the other two. I'd rather have some input from LJA about some specific, actually the variance I think is okay what they're asking for, but I would really like to have that. Yeah, from what, I don't know everything there is about that, but right now I would like to have some clarification from LJ before I'd be willing to, I would like to table this till the next deal and get a meeting with LJA so I can go over some of these issues with them.
Just for the information of the court, the drainage plan did involve an overall master study of the village out conditions as well as a phase one study. So it's been looked at in terms of ultimate as well as interim.
Yeah.
So you looked at draining your subdivision.
Yes, sir.
But did you look at the impact on the other drainage?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
and that's what LJA said they did not review, they just said it appears to me, but they didn't, here on two sand pits, they go back and forth with engineering companies for 6 months, analyzing everything they do. And here they just take the word for it and they don't, we're affecting a lot of people in that area. I'd rather just some clarification on it. But I do appreciate all that y'all done about coming and meeting with folks out there.
Yeah.
But there's a few more questions I would like to get answered. Now, the overall subdivision, I think it is good for the area and it fits in the area well, but the drainage is the main problem that I have and the most of the folks in our area that really have concerned about it. You're putting 250,000 gallons of water in some areas where we already have a lot of flooding. And then when you get the kind of rains that we have, it's going to be, I'd just like some clarification with our engineering company.
Okay. So your motion
I'll make
is?
a motion to table it right now.
You got a motion from Greg. A second from David. Table, is there any further discussion? Nope. All right, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Okay, let me get y'all right quick about one other thing. In the process of getting these plats turned in and even considered, the first person you contact is going to be Melinda. Okay. Not LJA. And not saying that they did this, but other companies have been sidestepping the permitting portion of our county. Also, we like to meet you. If you're going to do business in Liberty County, come here and see us. Let us put a name with a face and get to know you. Don't just submit a plat and think it's going to be all okay. We're going to ask questions, and then again, we're going to get bogged down. The next thing is, what impact is it going to have on the school district? We want to know. As you know, invariably, most school districts can't get a bond passed, even if they beg for it, because people are adamant right now about an increase in the taxes. So that is going to be something you need to consider. Another thing to consider, of course, not just drainage, but also the process that we do these reviews. We get it to Melinda first. She sends it to LJA, not the developer. And then they submit the plat back with a letter either of approval or denying the plat as it exists. And they ask for action in the plan if they did deny it, to remedial action to get it up to correct standards. And the clock starts ticking, which when you turn that plat in, you got 30 days. We have 30 days, Matthew. The last time I checked with legislature, they hadn't changed that yet, even though they tried to in the last session to 15 days. They didn't make it. but we got 30 days from the time you submit your application and your plat to Melinda. She hits a stopwatch. It's 30 days that we have to get an answer back from LJA saying yes or no. Now, here's the other part of it. If LJA says no in the plat review, that it has some deficiencies that need to be noted and changed, the clock starts ticking over again. Correct, Matthew? That's the way I look at it.
Once they receive the answer to
The answer to their, right. So we're not picking on people and trying to slow you down. We're trying to do this correctly. And it's a standard that we set probably as far back as 2016. Okay. So understand that part of it. It'll start, the clock will tick. We'll have to go back around and review it once again and get the letters submitted back from LJA to approve. That's why we use a third party, unconcerned third party rather, to review the plats. It's not in-house. It's somebody else outside that is reviewing another engineer's work. And it's an engineer that's reviewing an engineer's work. You might think that's somewhat redundant, but it's not. Somebody's going to catch something if something's wrong, hopefully. So with all these developments coming in, we prefer to get it done right the first time. So understand that we're not picking on you. We're just asking you to kind of to follow the set rules.
In defense of these fellows, they're not the developers. They're the engineers that work for the developers. And they've came over and met with the people in Tarkington. They came over and met with me one time.
They did.
And they have, but the developer, the stuff that you're addressing probably should be addressed to the developers. And
Right. Well,
and,
hopefully we got YouTube and hopefully it's getting addressed to developers right now. Because I guarantee you there's somebody out there right now with their recorder going and they're going to post it all over Facebook, but that's the truth.
I think the rest of the commissioners appreciate if they come meet with us and talk to us, about their plans. So we're kind of know what's going on in our precinct.
Well, there's nothing more, I guess, detrimental to your job than somebody stop you at the grocery store and ask you, what about that new development up yonder in Moss Hill? And you're like, what development? I hadn't met anybody about that yet.
Yeah.
And we prefer them to come in and visit with us and get to know them.
So just yesterday afternoon, Melinda and I were on a Teams meeting with a group of developers that put 3,300 homes on 1,000 acres off 1960. And Melinda was adamant they had not contacted our schools. And so I just want to say that they are working. Our permit department is working on our behalf to encourage that type of communication. I think it is, as the judge pointed out, it's very critical that they know what's coming as well.
Yeah. Mutual trust,
And we
mutual
have
respect.
Dr. Travis Young now in the seat. And so we need to support him as much as we can in precinct 4, as well as these other superintendents too, because it's coming, y'all. It's coming.
Well, one thing I will say, and I do say this, thank you for coming to the Tarkington meeting. Y'all did sit right there with the rest of us and we tried our best to answer questions. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of folks don't understand the law. And I get it explained to me on a daily basis from my county attorney that we're going to follow the law. Okay. All right. All right. So we tabled that one and we did have action on that one. So we'll move on to number 8.8. Ms. Alday, consider and approve the routing and road use agreement for Tricora. The main access will be on County Road 486. That's Hatcherville Road there, Bruce. That's your neck of the woods. And it will be for less than a week. So they're getting ready to tear up your road.
We have a representative from Tacora and Exxon here from the Mount Bellevue office.
Okay.
What's happening is they're shutting them off, and this is for essential services to the plants.
Right. So you're fixing one side to come into them, but you got to use the other side in the interim.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
He's with Exxon, I'm with Tacora.
Okay.
And this road's rated at 58,540 pounds. As everybody knows, in the last 5-6 years, I've probably spent almost $1 million of the taxpayers' money on fixing this road. So we have lowered the bond from $3 million to $100,000 on this, since it's just going to be from the 12th to the 15th for these guys to access their facilities.
Okay. They already videoed the road, everything been done?
We've already got the road videoed and ready to go on it.
Okay. What else you got? First of all, who are you again?
All right, so my name is Carl Cox. I work for ExxonMobil. I've worked for ExxonMobil for 19 years. I'm the process manager at Mont Golden Plastics.
Okay.
And so, yeah, our site, we've used Tricora ever since we started out to buy a chemical that we use in our process.
Okay.
It was Southampton Resources Refining out of Silver.
Yeah.
And we changed names a few years ago.
Okay.
But it was the same people. And anyway.
All righty. So you figured less than a week you'll have it knocked out?
They, I guess,
Yeah,
states, Chambers County, they're, well, go ahead.
So I guess I sit on the Chamber of Commerce for Chambers County, and I've been working with Commissioner Hanlon on this. And so, yeah, there's a company, it's called Carter Construction.
Mhm.
And they're going to start work on Thursday night at 7 p.m. And their plan is, so there's a 4-foot diameter concrete culvert that goes under the road.
Mhm.
And that culvert's leaking. So whenever you drive over the road today, water will shoot up out of the road. We're concerned that as much 18-wheeler traffic, because eventually if we don't address that, replace that concrete pipe, it's going to cave in.
Get a little mushy, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All right.
so, I guess what my concern is what they're going to do. They're going to, the county's going to, Chambers County's going to cut open the road, and then the construction company's going to remove the old pipe, and then drop a new pipe in. But with all the rain in the forecast, I think there's their plan, and they've assured me that they're going to be Monday morning 5 a.m. finished. But realistically, I've done pipeline construction work and fire jobs for ExxonMobil. I know when it starts raining and you start digging in the mud, things can take a little bit longer.
So Exxon's paying for it?
No, so the CWA, the Coastal Water Authority,
Mhm.
is paying to do the put in the new. That's part of the city of Houston. Where they get their water. They're paying to put in the culvert, and then the Chambers County is paying to do the road work.
Okay.
And I have been in talk with the Commissioner Hammond and Judge over in Chambers County.
Yes. All right. So you good with it, Bruce?
Yeah, make a motion to approve.
All right.
Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Before, I'd just like to make it known, I know the agenda item says that this is a road use agreement, but Commissioner Karbowski and I have talked, it's not a traditional road use agreement that we've done in the past with Exxon. It's just a bond. It's a bond of $100,000, I believe.
Okay. All right. You good with everything else? Everybody good? Okay. All right. So we have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays.
Thank you.
That
Jim.
motion carries. Thank y'all, Jim. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Number 8, 9, Ms. Alday, consider and approve Tarkin and Down Section 1 variance request. This request is to allow for wet bottom detention ponds to allow for a more efficient drainage design. Attached for your review is a letter of request and a letter from LJ Engineering, a letter of no objection. Again, this is kind of tied to one of the previous items.
Yeah, I'd like to table vote this other one and we'll evaluate the whole thing and we'll bring it back next time.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, got a motion from Bruce, from Greg. Second from Bruce to table, then bring it back next time with the other item. Is there any further discussion? Gerald?
Yes, Judge. We are continuously getting this very same variance for these detention ponds. So now that it's become continuous and again, the meeting I had yesterday, they're going to ask for the very same variance. Do we need to change our building guidelines for these things? I don't know why, they have, you have the wet bottom or that concrete slope bottom that apparently is more expensive to construct. I personally don't know the difference. So what I would like is to find out from our engineers, Greg wants to get some information, why our standard says to have that sloped concrete bottom and they have no objection to the variance. Why don't we just change it so that we don't always have to come back and do this?
I know somebody that can kind of explain to you about what that is.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
No.
Come on up.
Do I get an approval?
No, sorry.
Well, that boat left the dock a while ago. It's
Say a little bit about the wet bottom.
Yeah, no, well, so typically a detention pond will be more or less a dry hole. And to keep it draining and not becoming a breeding ground for mosquitoes, good practice is to put a concrete pilot channel in the bottom.
Mhm.
And so that's exactly what your regulations call for, is that shall be required, but it does not make an exception for what we call wet bottom ponds, amenity ponds. And so in Tarkington, we want this beautiful lake looking feature. And so in that case, it doesn't make sense to install, you're just throwing away money, putting in a pilot channel. It's going to be underwater anyways.
Right.
How much water do you anticipate being in this detention pond? When it's not really being a detention pond, it more or less becomes a retention pond.
Well, we dig it out so it's about 6 feet deep, and clay line it and aerate it to keep it not smelly. And we set the outlet structure at that water surface elevation so that it'll, I mean, yeah, it's retention during normal operation, but it detains in storm events.
Right. Okay.
But then
So-
gravity feeds into the drainage.
Right, it's got a controlled outlet that's at that water elevation.
So at what depth would the weir be cut for it to drain?
Well,
If it's 6 feet deep.
it's six feet deep normally.
Yeah.
And then another 4, depending, the ponds vary throughout our subdivision, but 4 to 4.5 feet of storage volume on top of that.
Okay. Okay. So
So
you-
the 6 feet is below ground level. It's not a dam situation.
Yeah. So the kids could go out there with their little sailboat and run it.
If it's okay with the parents.
Okay.
We put a safety shelf around the edge, so
Yeah.
if someone were to fall in or something, there's a place to. there's
Step up.
Refuge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, my point was not to, it's know why we don't change our guidelines so that we don't have to go through this process every time, because again, we had, in the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 requests for the same thing, that they would be requesting this variance.
And we've talked to LJA and they say, yeah, they see the engineering reason to have no objection. And they say, but the way the code is written, it has to be a variance. So really, if the
So this is
regulation,
a Texas state code?
no, I'm sorry, the regulation, subdivision regulations.
Okay.
So really, if it just had this requirement shall not apply to wet bottom on some kind of addition like that, then that would do away with the variance.
There's probably some instances where you would not want a wet bottom pond. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's the reason we got our specifications the way they are. And then if the situation lends itself to a wet bottom, then they can ask for a variance and get that.
Well, they use it as an amenity for this new subdivision, right?
Right.
So that the kids can fish and
Mhm.
play and other people can.
A wet bottom pond is usually a little more expensive because you're trying to treat the side so it doesn't just drain out. And
Yeah.
so dry bottom is usually a cheaper solution.
That's what you got here. Would you explain a little bit about the pilot channel?
It's just a concrete, basically like a sidewalk with an inverted V, usually a minimum of 6 feet wide, 0.1% slope minimum. It's usually in the middle, and so it just kind of
Funnels the water.
directs any storm that comes in. It gives it a nice low place to get out of the pond during low flow events, like a little half-inch rain or something like that.
Okay.
You have a question?
What's the gallonage gonna be on the retention side of the pond? Gallons? You're talking 4, 5, 6 foot deep? Yes, over, I believe it's 12 acres, so it's, I don't have the report right in front of me, so this can't be exactly for the record, but I believe it's around 56 acre feet. So, in gallons, man, that's Okay, is this gonna be, is the subdivision gonna be in a mud district? Is it gonna be created or?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we've created Liberty County Mud 15 through TCEQ.
Would you consider a dry hydrant for the fire department to use to draft water out of during the summer or other times to use in firefighting efforts?
We're gonna place normal fire hydrants at 500-foot
Understand.
max spacing.
Would you consider a dry hydrant into the pond so they could access that water from the roadway if they needed to fill their tankers for other, to not put the load on the mud district water supply?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's not my money. I'm not the developer.
Just say yeah.
I can't obligate them, but I'm about 99% sure that would be, I'm fairly certain that would not be a problem.
I mean, if the water's gonna be sitting there and it's just for decorative and they need it for wildfire, grass fire, whatever, instead of having to
Oh, yeah.
take the potable water out of the mud system, they could use that as an additional source.
Okay, so I see where your question was coming from then, like how many trucks do they fill up?
Well, even if they fill up 3 trucks, that's 3 trucks of water not out of the mud.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it fill a lot more than 3 trucks.
Okay.
Mhm.
Big lot.
Just
Okay.
a question.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we have a motion and a second
Thank you.
on the table. Thank you. To table this one until we get the answers back. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. And thank y'all for coming and get some good explanations. Okay, number 810 from Mr. Poston. Consider and approve the earnest money contract in the amount of $7,600 for the purchase of 400 Main Street, Liberty, Texas, 77575. I think this is the first step. We have to take it.
Yeah, make a motion to approve that.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from David. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 11, from Mr. Poston, consider and approve the purchasing department to request for proposals and/or qualifications for design and construction of a new jail.
Your Honor, we would ask that 11, 12, 14 be considered after the executive session.
Okay, we will step past 11, 12, and 14, move on to 13. Okay. Number 813 is from Mr. Poston. Consider and approve the road use agreement between Liberty County and Hallett Materials for the repair of 1.3 miles along County Road 2117 in Precinct 2. Greg, that's over in your neighborhood.
Yes, this is what they're agreed to repair this road. We had no deal last time, but I think you had to.
Yes, so I've been working on the agreement. It's not quite done yet, but it will be today. It's a standard road use agreement. The biggest difference with, like, let's say a pipeline company or other types of road use agreements is Hallett Materials is coming in and they are paying for the repairs. They're, I believe y'all have already met with Vulcan Materials.
Yeah, they're gonna rebuild the whole road,
and it's costing roughly.
2 inches asphalt, wide at 2 feet.
Okay.
So-
Everything are what we're asking to do.
And it's costing around 1.3 million for the entire roadway to be redone. But this road use agreement, it will say that, but in addition, we'll have the ability to come in and say, yes, this meets county specs, this doesn't. It gives Commissioner Arthur a little bit of control in that regard.
Okay.
Good deal.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay. We got a motion from Bruce, a second from David to approve. Is there any further discussion? Now's your chance, Cheryl.
No.
Okay.
Hey, I wish Mallett would come see me or Hallett.
Yeah, okay. All right. Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 815 from Mr. Poston. consider and approve revised finance documents with government capital for a medium-duty truck for Liberty County Road and Bridge number 2. I think that's the last step we have to get knocked out before you can get a new truck.
Yes, so this is building on what Dwayne was saying earlier in the consent agenda. We've been going back and forth with government capital in regards to the lease agreement. There were some issues with the financing, and we wanted a more traditional finance agreement. I added a non-appropriations clause. I believe Dwayne is happy with this. My office is happy with this, so we would ask the court to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from David, second from Greg to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 816 from Ms. Chambers. Consider and approve adding a third intern position for the summer to the county clerk's office for $16 an hour. And Dwayne, this money comes out of what? Records Management Fund. Okay.
Make a motion.
When, okay, I'm here if you have any questions. We just previously approved 2. In the past, we've done 3, and I just wanted to make sure that 3 was okay.
I'll second that motion.
Motion from David, second from Bruce, and the ghost in the computer. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
there a cap on the amount, the total amount?
Lee, is there a cap on the total amount?
I think we have 26,000 in the budget line item. We won't get anywhere near that. These are just summer interns. These are students that we're going to have do scanning, clean up the attic, stuff like that. So we won't get close to the appropriation with these people. They're just, temporary summer jobs. That's all.
Kim?
Yeah.
You good?
Good.
All right, got a motion from David, second from Bruce. Hearing no further discussion, call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Number
guys.
8, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 817 from Mr. C. Consider and acknowledge this list of items sold in the online auction and accept the check from Renee Bates Auctioneers Incorporated in the amount of $22,174. Harold?
Says it all. It's a pretty good haul compared to past auctions.
Yeah, it is.
A
Yeah.
couple of seed bids went for quite a bit. Well, 6,600 was the most expensive one. That's pretty good for an 08.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from David, second from Greg to approve.
We putting this money into precinct 1's account?
3. Of course, big 3.
The boys, y'all don't fight over that money. The sheriff needs it.
It goes in the Queen's accounts.
Yeah.
That's it. That's right.
All right, got a motion and a second. No further discussion. Call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 818 from Mr. C, consider and declare as salvage the list of items not sold on online auction. So we got some stuff that,
Yeah, we just had a large metal, it's a record book table from county clerk, oak desk that's broken down, it's from purchasing, and a couple old chairs that, we got no bids on them, so we just want to junk them.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
motion from David, second from Gerald to have a house cleaning. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 819 from Mr. C. Consider and approve payment application number 10 from White Construction in the amount of $417,511.61 for the Northwest Annex project.
That's it, and that leaves about, I think, 1.1 billion left to go on.
Okay.
Get them to the end.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion from Gerald and a second from Greg to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 820 from Mr. Dennis, consider and approve a phone line transition for Constable Precinct 2. This is to move the Constable Precinct 2 from Frontier Phone Services to A1 Telecom.
Yeah, so we're starting to get some of these rural buildings we have, and Constable Tucker, his building has been neglected for quite some time, because he's part of the old DAP school
Yeah.
out there. Well, we took a look at his phone system, which is on its end of life, and they're currently spending about $590 a month for that. So speaking with A1 Telecom, we came up with a plan so that we'll get it down to $169 a month. So this is just to get it approved to switch it from their legacy system over to Centricom, basically.
Thank you. What say the court?
Is this going to be a reoccurring charge on
Yes,
this?
it's going to change the monthly bill.
And so Frontier phone service, A1 has their own phone service?
Yeah, so they do it digitally, is what they do. Is we get the numbers from Frontier, and then we can port them into the phone system.
Well, my concern is we use them as a large contractor to
Yes,
do
sir.
different services, and now we're actually going in, they're offering us a service for these phones, just like AT&T or Frontier or something like that.
Similar but not the same, because this is incorporated into our VoIP system, like into our digital phone systems that we have, because we're trying to tie this one building into the county's network with the next item as well.
Matthew, have any problems with that?
Yes, so,
Yeah.
so it sounds like what he's saying, instead of having a traditional phone line, what this will do is work through the voice over IP, meaning internet phone, not a traditional phone line. It'll work through that system. And it makes sense to me.
Yeah, we basically we're acquiring their numbers so we don't lose the numbers.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to approve. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I've got a
Gerald?
question. Yeah, it says it's 60% down payment.
Oh,
of
this is for
$70.
this is for the next one. So this is the next item on here, yeah, so it's to look at refitting their current network
Okay.
infrastructure.
So this verbiage doesn't apply to this.
No, it goes to,
This item.
21.
Oh, okay,
Yes, sir.
I jumped down.
Yeah, no, it's okay,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
It's okay.
I retract that comment now.
Oh, good.
Questions are always good, Gerald.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, we got a motion from Bruce, a second from David to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 821 from Mr. Dennis, consider and approve technology upgrade for Constable Precinct 2. These are critical upgrades that are needed, requesting a 60% down payment of $7,381.20, if available. We have to ask Dwayne about that, to be paid from the JP Technology Fund or by other means.
That's what I was thinking as well. This is just to bring it up to discussion because they are lacking in everything. They're running off an old WiMAX system. They don't have current firewall security. I can't tie them into the current network.
And
This
it's
is
been that
just
way.
the baseline minimal items. We need to bring them up to the standard so that they can have a functioning building.
And it's been that way for a while.
Yes, and the reason we did this is, I personally don't feel like we need to spend a bunch of money on a building that we don't currently own. I believe they're just there. So we tried to keep the cost down as much as we could while still giving them all the items they need to tie into the rest of the county.
Okay.
Like I said, don't know if this will work, just wanted to bring to attention, see if there is a possibility of us looking into this or going down this route, but that's the information for what we're looking.
Dwayne, you got anything rat hole anywhere?
I mean, that's up to you guys. If I want to do it, I can.
So what's our long-term outlook? Are we going to stay in this building?
That's what I kind of want to know.
We
Is that
are
the
going to be
plan?
staying in
Yeah,
this building?
It's basically rent free from whole days at a school district.
Okay.
We've been using it now for years.
Yeah, they've been there for a long time,
Yeah.
so that's why, if they do plan to stay there much longer, I recommend.
You
trying.
said rent-free, right?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, because, we talked with Rick, he has to pay a monthly fee to live where he lives.
Yeah.
And so if we make an investment and we think we're going to be there for a while,
Yeah.
then I think by all means, we should find the funds to upgrade it, to take advantage of a good deal from a rent standpoint.
Is that your motion?
So I'll make a motion. And beg Dwayne to go find the money.
Second.
That was an eloquent motion.
Road and bridge, yeah. Easy target.
Yeah. Got a motion from Gerald and second from David to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay.
Thank you, Nick.
That motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 822 from Mr. Poston, consider and approve interlocal agreement with Liberty County MMD number 1 for the repair of San Marcos Drive, also known as County Road 5000. Okay, Matthew?
This is, the MMD reached out to me and, I think in response to, some of the, concerns they have on San Marcos Drive, they're, offering to do the work. If we'll sign an interlocal with them, authorizing them to do so.
Okay.
Whitmire, what does it look like out there to you?
It needs fixed.
Yeah. If they're gonna pay for it, I don't see any problem. Make a motion to approve.
I guess I need to abstain on that one. Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
Okay. I got a motion from Bruce, looking for a second.
I don't have a second. I have questions before I would want to go.
Well, let me see if I can find a second so we can even go any further. Anybody? Anybody? I don't hear a second.
I have some questions for Matthew before
Okay, well, let's go ahead and ask you questions.
And Mr. Harris is here from.
Okay.
MMD.
Yeah.
So do we have any other interlocal agreements with other MMDs in the county?
I don't believe so at this point. Not that I recall.
Okay. So this MMD is located on a county road, but
That's
yet
correct.
they want to fix it.
They want to fix it. So MMDs are authorized under the statute to repair roads.
So
That's one of their functions.
So we didn't have a copy of that interlocal agreement in this package, or I didn't see one.
I'm sorry. I thought we forwarded it.
Is it in here and I missed it because that can happen?
I didn't see
We
it.
can print it and bring it back maybe after executive session and address it.
Okay,
I think that I'd like to just see, if it looks like the others are typically pretty boilerplate, right?
Yes.
And so as long as it's in line with the others, I certainly wouldn't have an issue with that, but I didn't get to see it, didn't.
I mean, Matthew should know. He's the
Yes, yeah. No,
attorney, so
I have no concern as far as the legalities of doing it.
Okay, so you
It's a
don't.
Business decision.
And
But I
usually,
pretty much all have those.
usually the interlocals are kind of a reciprocal agreement, right?
Typically, yeah.
So, but this one is a little different.
So, yeah, there are circumstances, we do have interlocal with cities, to
Right.
do, road work for them. They,
Right.
The statute, the interlocal statute requires, there to be an exchange of value for the performing entity to be paid for their work typically.
But this just allows the MMD to do the road work with
Because
no
they're
cost
our
to the
roads.
county.
That's correct.
Okay.
Because they're our roads.
Okay. So if there was still a motion on the table, I would make the second. Based
Okay.
on Matthew's.
okay, got a motion from
Lack of
Bruce, a
objection.
second from Gerald. Now, is there any further discussion? You still want to bring this one back, or are you okay?
Let's bring it back. Yeah, I'd like for everybody to have a copy of the agreement. That would be something.
Okay. Well, we do have a motion in a second, so we can withdraw the motion in a second and then bring it back.
I'll withdraw it.
You can hold it open.
We can hold it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just hold it then. All right.
You'll probably need a motion to then go to the next agenda item and reconsider 22 after executive session.
Okay. Anybody want to make that
Make a
motion?
motion to continue to item 23 on the agenda, bring back the final results of 22 after executive session.
I'll second it.
Not that we're discussing this in an executive session, just the
No.
other deputies get his time to bring it back to you.
All right, we got a motion to continue this after executive session. Motion from Bruce, second from Gerald. Any further discussion on that matter? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 823 from Mr. Posey, consider and approve agreement with Catahoula Parish, Louisiana for the housing of Liberty County inmates in the Catahoula Correctional Center at a cost of $85 per day per inmate.
I would ask that no action be taken on this. At this point, there's, aside from my concerns about sending inmates to Louisiana.
Well, we've been
this
cautioned.
con-
Yeah.
This contract also specifically requires us to pay for beds we do not use, up to 100 beds. It's at a reduced rate. I think it was $28 per bed per day, but you know, if we only use 10, then we're paying $28 per bed for the remaining 90.
So they do business in Louisiana a little bit different than
Yeah.
Texas. Okay. All right.
Make a motion to take no action.
There's something that, you got any comment on this, Sheriff?
I have not seen the revised contract. The one I read first, it was an option that we could reserve the beds for $45 a day. But we sent it back for some revisions and I didn't see it. Heather, I put her in charge. She was dealing with that.
Yeah, Heather and I, this is late last week. We had just gotten the revisions back from Catahoula and that was included. So as this contract stands, I would recommend y'all not take any action. Now, if we can get it resolved, I'd still have the issues of sending inmates in there, but at least I wouldn't have that objection.
Okay. All right.
I've made the motion.
Who made the second?
I did.
Greg. Okay. All right. Got a motion to second to take no action. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. All right, we have some executive session items, number 11, 12, and 14 on the regular agenda will be considered. Now, this is going to be pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code's consultation with attorney, and also 551.0725. It's going to be deliberations about contracts being negotiated. I would ask that we move into executive session. I
Make
need
a
a motion
to
and a
go
second.
into executive session.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from David. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. All right, it is now 10:05.
Doing a good job.
We are in executive session. All right, it's now 11:34. We're out of executive session, back into regular session. We had 3 items of consideration concerning discussions in executive session. The first item, and y'all don't forget that after we finish this, we got to go back to number 22, okay? Okay, we'll make sure we get that done. Those were items number 11, 12, and 14. Item number 11 is consider and approve the purchasing department to request, issue requests for proposals and or qualifications for design and construction of a new jail.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from David to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 12 was consider and approve an agreement between Liberty County and White Construction for emergency repairs to the Liberty County Jail.
Make a motion to take no action.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to take no action. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 14, consider and approve allowing outside counsel, Biggerstaff, Heath, Delgado and Acosta to engage with White Construction as a consultant on pending litigation involving repairs to Liberty County Jail.
Make a motion to take no action.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to take no action. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, move back over to item number 22. That was consider and approve interlocal agreement with Liberty County, MMD number 1, for the repair of San Marcos Drive, also known as County Road 5000. I believe you all received your interlocal agreements and had an opportunity to look over those. What's the
Yes.
court's pleasure at this time?
I'll make a motion to approve that interlocal agreement.
Second.
Okay. Motion from Gerald, second from Greg. The two Gs, we got you. Okay. All right, got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from David. All in favor say aye.